Morning everyone. So, intro video to start the placebo effect series and explaining the parasympathetic mode of our nervous system, which allows far faster healing, repair, regeneration, whatever you want to call it, rest and digestion, and opens and activates and irrigates our higher brain and purifies, cleanses, detoxes our organs. So 80% of our waking time, in my opinion, should be the parasympathetic, calm, peaceful, serene, alpha brain waves more than beta brain waves. And then 20% of our waking time, as a man, maybe a little more, as a woman, maybe a little less. We're talking about biology and our history here. Hush! Come here! Kenny, hush! Let go of the dog just briefly so he could have a bit of a run around, but I have to keep him tied up because it's the weekend and you meet people on their walks. Good boy. Yes. Sit down. Sit. Come, Kenny, come here. Come here. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. Sit. Come here. Good boy. Really pushing it. He's a chancer. Good boy. So, the present is the parasympathetic, is the title of this video. It has to be the introduction to the series. I had to add the video on to the beginning of it all because I neglected to mention the fundamentals of our peaceful, safe mode. That is the parasympathetic, which is the opposite of the sympathetic, which is survival, fight or flight, climb, escape, freeze, fawn nowadays. The parasympathetic is, it's unthreatened. It's knowing, it's love, power, faith, all of the lovely words you want to use, even light, enlightenment, peace, peace of mind. It's peace of mind. And this fundamentally, on a survival level, requires your senses to be open and active. Like your eyes scanning the environment and the surroundings. Your ears listening, not making noise and talking. So shutting your mouth and opening the 7 holes in your mouth, in your head, basically, or the 6 other holes other than your mouth, is fundamental. This is definitely essential. Like the very first thing has to be mentioned if you want to enter the parasympathetic and the placebo effect. The placebo effect, as I mentioned in the rest of the series, but I should say in this first video again, is a state of knowing and gratitude and joy and celebration even that the solution has been secured, that the desired outcome, the result, is already the case. And this is what the miracle healing cases in placebo studies have proven, that when the person believes they've been given something that will heal them, their body kicks into a completely different immune system mode, rate of repair, detox, and so when the tissues and organs cleanse, our pH rises. The higher your pH is, the cleaner and stronger and more stable your energetic charge, your electrical accumulation potential is, your life force basically of your cells. And the nervous system regulates and stabilizes and calms and soothes. This is all the parasympathetic mode. And so the number one affliction to our peace of mind and our clarity and our calm is, firstly, as I said, output instead of intake. You're not in touch and in connection with the environment, so anything could happen at any moment because you're blind. It's as if you're driving with your eyes closed or all your mirrors are covered. A state of anxiety is warranted. And so that's the basics. So focusing on our breath and simply being here now. And you'll notice when you're reading, if you focus on your breath, you suddenly find yourself jumping just 2 or 3 times in each line instead of on individual words. You speed up your reading speed just automatically when you focus on your breath. You find yourself glancing once or twice per line, even sometimes at your fastest. And once is obviously very difficult, but 2 or 3 times, and So the main affliction of all for our mental well-being and our tension in our nervous system versus calm, peace and serenity is overthinking, the mind. So this video is probably going to be called "The Present is the Parasympathetic" and calming the mind or peace of mind, because basically the parasympathetic nervous state is opposite to fear and control and worry and suspicion and hypothesis and planning ahead and anticipation and manipulation and interference and distrust. Basically, it's the vibration of distrust. And if you know David Hawkins' vibrational scale, you'll know the top half is called power or love, and the bottom half is called force and fear. And basically, it starts at the bottom with shame, guilt, apathy, lethargy, anger, pride, and courage. I've missed one or two, but then the top half is neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reasoning, peace, joy, love, enlightenment. And you'll notice the top half are very relaxed, loose, open, connected, and trusting, and totally compatible with collaboration. Whereas the bottom half is resistance. It's distrust, it's conditionality, transactionality, stumbling blocks or obstacles, impasses, and force, basically. Not allowing things to flow. And so connection is the fundamental property of well-being and health and strength, if you think of it, in all of nature. Like the dominant member of any group of animals, whether it's a gorilla or a lion or whatever, is always really chilled out and just sitting and watching, because he works intensely, rarely, instead of continuously, slowly, all the time. And he's also guarding and surveilling and enjoying. And it's, ears open, eyes open, non-doing. And this brings us to the end of spiritual seeking, which is, so what I just mentioned as point number 2 is overthinking, neurotic tendencies, worrying, anticipation, and fear being understood as a controlling consciousness. Fear is a controlling consciousness. The individual who is manipulating and conditioning and planning and distrustful is generally the one that has a lot to fear. Like in all of history, for example, more women than men. The inferiority and vulnerability and fragility, so to speak. But each of us has a spectrum of conscious states in which we can dwell or evolve. And the more we practice these lower emotions, the bigger the muscle grows, so to speak, the way a bicep, for example, would, and it becomes automatic and really easy and just runs on its own and defines you as who you are. Whereas if you become conscious of the fact that you want to practice that a lot less and spot yourself, catch yourself, meditation really helps with this, because it makes you aware. You're observing your mind, you see thoughts come along and you let them go. It's not a battle against your mind, it's witnessing your mind. So the more you take a step back behind yourself, become the observer and witness of yourself, the easier it becomes to become selective with your emotional habits, your emotional states. So selectiveness in our emotional states. Hypochondria is also part of neuroticism. All the kinds of anticipatory and fearful hypothetical realities entertained now. And also, obviously, regretful memories and shame and guilt and pain and both the present and the past. The past and the future are not the present. The present is where you want to be, because it's the simplest, least taxing on your processor, so to speak, and it calms the mind. Simply witnessing and imbibing, taking in, or as in Italian they say, imparare. Imparare means to learn, but it sounds like literally to receive or take in, to catch. And that's the simplest state. That's the simplest state. If you want to soothe your nervous system, practice being in the present as much as possible. That's the main point of this video. So the third point is non-doing, wu wei, allowing, trusting, the fifth dimension, and it is already done. All of these self-soothing and encouraging, reassuring kinds of statements and mindsets are all extremely valuable. But one step ahead of them even is no mind. No mind. Literally having the goal of turning off your processor or resting it or putting it on standby. And actually there's a great movement on the internet right now called retard maxing, whereas men more on the intelligent end of the scale that have had complicated circumstances early in life and possible trauma and fearful relationship to power and authority due to one or several caregivers or parent figures, or just figures of authority in their childhood being excessively distrustful, forceful, dominant, and basically traumatizing. And I just wanted to mention retard maxing because it's hilarious. I mean, the titles of these videos are amazing. Like, didn't have a single deep thought today, just retard maxing, or all quiet on the frontal lobe. And I've been there. I can tell you, discovering retard maxing about a year ago has really helped me. But so if you've heard of Advaita Vedanta, it's one of the Hindu religion's oldest scriptures, and it advocates understanding that it's non-duality, basic non-duality. There's no separation between you and the version of yourself you want to be. For example, there's no separation or difference between God and man, between the present and the future. Everything is one already. And the only way to explain this theory is you have the right to transcend the time dimension and already feel in advance the way you would feel if the desired reality was already the case. So this is basic manifesting nowadays. The secret law of attraction. You enter the emotional reality of your wish already fulfilled. It's called living in the end desired. And that, to me, explains fully Advaita, which is no separation. Everything is one. So the undesired and the desired can be unified by simply moving between one and the other. Like A's destiny is to become B. It's always been like that. All of conscious reality comes to that conclusion. So that's the third point. The present is the parasympathetic. Peace of mind comes from consciously avoiding overthinking, realizing problems are solved with action, not with words or theorizing or hypothesis, and we'll deal with it when it comes around, those kind of phrases. And understanding the principle of effortless action and doing, non-doing. Alan Watts is a big figure in this area. Wu Wei, and the path of no path or non-action. And so I want to start the Placebo Effect series with an emphasis on the parasympathetic being the opposite of interference, action, intensity, and emotional volatility, all of which come from self-harmful thought practices. So what we think about, and much more importantly, how much we think at any given moment or in a given hour of the day, will determine how stressed and tense our nervous system is. So that's a good introduction. I'll keep coming back to this series in future, as I do with all my series. and I'll keep the thumbnail. So if you liked a couple of these videos specifically, then in the future I'll keep using this thumbnail for things related to this topic. But obviously the different subjects run into each other and overlap, so it won't all be under this thumbnail. And sometimes the videos with this thumbnail will seem to talk more about another topic outside of these main 3 or 4 videos that started the series. But that's the nature of everything, isn't it? Overlapping circles, Venn diagrams, no straight lines or boxes in nature. Thanks for your time again. Take care and stay constructive, positive, forward focused, and on what's in your control, not what's not, and enjoying in advance the end desired. Tally ho!